Today I just want to give you a bit different perspective regarding prosperity. My whole life I thought that prosperity is regarding money, and as I went through life I realized and I gained a different insight regarding prosperity. But before going there, I just want to ask you for a moment, just use your imagination with me. And imagine you're standing in front of the ocean with a container. And just look in your mind's eye, what type of container do you actually have? Is it a bucket? Is it a cup? Does it got holes? The bucket got holes in? Because that container represents your consciousness in the subconscious. So does that container you have really meet your expectations of what you want to receive in real life, or doesn't it? And the next question is, if we all stood with these beautiful containers at the ocean, do you think there would be enough for all of us? And I do believe there's enough for everyone. There's abundance in this universe. If I just look, there's abundance of leaves around me, there's abundance of ground. All of nature represents for me abundance of air. There's abundance, there's prosperity everywhere I look. But many times I do believe that our container needs to become in alignment with what we actually want and with our desires. And your container, like I've said, is your consciousness. And the beautiful thing of your consciousness, it is something you can change. You're in control of your consciousness. If you don't like the bucket or the cup or whatever is your container, you can change it. We can only change your consciousness with the thoughts, with the way you think, the thoughts you have inside this container, we call the mind. You can also change it with the beliefs you hold about yourself, about life, about the world, relationships, sex, all aspects influence this container, this consciousness of what you're willing and your ability to receive. It's a beautiful journey, this path of self-development, and I actually was at a time in my life where I was extremely busy. I had no time. I was studying full-time, I was raising children, I was working full-time job. I only slept like 4 hours. And then I started to realize that actually I'm poor in time. I have very little time. I have no time for myself. It feels like I have no time for others. I feel more irritated. And then I realized there's a prosperity. You can be prosperous in time, or you can be poor in time. And many times in our lives, we forget to value time in its own essence. And lately the world is just going fast, and everything is just, it feels for me, if everything is just moving so much faster than ever before. And so often I feel poor in time. But now, if I have the awareness there, I can put certain things in place and to create more prosperous prosperity in time itself. The second thing I realized is actually comfort. Comfort is also a place where we can be poor in comfort, or we have prosperity in comfort. I went with my family on a holiday, and it was we thought, let's be adventurous, let's go camping. And we went camping, but that night it actually rained, and it was pouring, and the water was streaming into our tent, and our clothes was wet, our bedding was wet, everything was wet. In that moment I realized, sure, a person can be poor in comfort, or you can be prosperous in comfort. And when I got home, and it was so nice to snuggle into my bed, and I just to know that comfort is definitely part of prosperity. And then I climbed into my car and I went to my work as a school psychologist, a school counselor. And in that moment, I just realized that so many people, especially in South Africa, do not have that gift and of comfort. Many people is walking to work, many people is catching a few taxis at work, and then I realized, wow, just the comfort of my own car seat. Sure, I'm prosperous in comfort. And as I was driving to work, I was going past the river and I noticed people were busy washing. They were washing in the river. And then I thought, wow, actually have a washing machine. And then I realized, wow, I take it so many times for granted. And then I realized, wow, a person can be so poor in comfort and so also poor, also prosperous in comfort as well. Success is the next one. I think, first of all, I had this belief about prosperity and this belief about success. And I thought it's all about having amounts of money. What car do I drive? Where do I live? What type of job do I have? I thought that is success. And I looked at so many people who is really so wealthy. And I realized many of these people, doesn't matter what amount of money they have, the amount of money they have, it just feels if it's never enough. It just feels if it's never enough. And I realized that the more these people have, the more they search for it. And there's no level of satisfaction. And then I changed, by doing that introspection, I changed my belief about success. And for me, success is now to be satisfied. And because when I'm satisfied, I'm feeling content. And for me, that is a level of success. It doesn't mean when I'm satisfied, I don't have a vision and a goal and still my dreams. I still have them all. But I'm just satisfied where I am at. And from that place is for me a greater point of power, because I'm in charge. I can do something about it. It's not about something outside of me. It's like I'm in charge. It's something within me, the power within, to take action and to create that what I actually want to create in my own life. The next thing is wisdom. I realized that a person can be poor in wisdom or he can be prosperous in wisdom. And I also noticed that many people believe that life is bigger than them and they don't know how to take charge of life itself. And it feels as if life controls them and they do not have the power and they do not have the know-how to go through things in their own lives. And then I realized that, wow, a person can be poor in wisdom, because within us there is a place within all of us which we can feel connected. There's a knowingness within us that everything is going to be okay. And there's a knowingness when we're in wisdom that doesn't matter what life gives us, we'll be able to handle it. For me, that's the connection of that inner wisdom. So easy, we can be poor in wisdom, or we can be rich and prosperous in wisdom itself. Then beauty is another one. Lately, if I look at the world's beauty, the physical beauty is like becoming a god. It's like people getting obsessed with how they look and with their own looks. But for me, that is a bit shallow. For me, not to be able to notice beauty within others, that is poor in beauty. But you can be prosperous in beauty when it doesn't matter who it is, be able to notice the beauty within that person. And many times we go and we miss the beauty of flowers, we miss the beauty of sunset and sunrise. It's so amazing if we can be able to notice that beauty in things. My teacher she says that where there's beauty, there's love. Because the moment when you love someone, you see the beauty in them. But the moment the beauty disappears, then the love also gets impacted by that lack of noticing the beauty. It's so beautiful. We can become prosperous in beauty itself and see beauty everywhere around us. And then good health. So many times in our life, I see so many other people, I notice it in my own life, the moment we don't have health, then we realize, sure, how poor we can be in health. So many times when we lose it, we only realize how important health is. So we can be poor in health, or we can be prosperous in health. And then if we want to be prosperous, we need to learn the skills and the tools of how to look after ourselves, and to listen to our bodies, to know what our bodies want, and how to create the best reality for our bodies within ourselves. And joy. Joy is such a beautiful energy, but so many people tend to complain, and then they, instead of noticing the joy and being in the moment, they have self-doubt and they self-sabotage themselves. So they rob themselves from the gift of joy. Are you poor in joy? Are you prosperous in joy? And in love. The whole world is searching for love. And love is a beautiful energy. But in today's reality, it feels for me people forgot what love is, and they forgot the essence of the word love. And people misuse the word love for me so often. Many people say to someone else, I love you. But when that person's going through a hard, difficult time, they're not there. And for me, love is an energy which is present. It's an energy which is available. So I also see a lot of people so poor in love that they're even with someone who loves them dearly, but then they still choose to cheat on that partner with someone else because they cannot receive that love, and it feels if that love is not enough, not being satisfied with the amount of love they receive. So are you poor in love? Are you prosperous in love? It's amazing if you can have family and friends and a partner who can love you. And do you allow yourself to be loved? And do you love yourself? It's always good to reflect and to see, are you poor in love, or are you prosperous in love? And then there's money as well. I mean, it's wonderful to have an amount of money in our lives. And it's wonderful if we can notice and have the abundance. Are you poor in money, or are you prosperous in money? But many times people have money, but they miss all the other prosperity. And then it feels like that gap within themselves, that missing link. And instead of fulfilling it in other areas of their life, they usually search for it just more in money. And just to remember that prosperity is not about money, it's about so many other facets of our own lives, and to become prosperous in all facets of ourselves and all facets of our life. For me, that is the definition of success. It's not to be successful in one facet, but to be successful in all facets. For me, that is like success in your relationships, in your finances, in your work, life entails such a lot in ourselves. So I want you to remember that we're all standing in front of this ocean called life, with your container, and remember that your container is your consciousness. And many times we want to blame, or we want to think we want to blame, we think of excuses, we want to justify for our container the way it is, and why we cannot receive, and why we're experiencing lack. But your container is your responsibility. Therefore, you need to take accountability of what you think and what you believe. And if you don't like what you think, and if you don't like what you believe, go and see someone. There's lots of things that you can do in order to change your thinking and believing. When you change your container, you're open and receptive to more, and you will be willing to receive, and you will be open to receiving. But many times if we're not, we sabotage ourselves when we should actually receive, then we do not receive. or we believe we're not allowed to receive. Yeah, it's so important to look at your agreement and your relationship with receiving, but that is for another YouTube video. So I want to just introduce to you a beautiful affirmation which supports me to become open and receptive to all of life and to receive it, and just say a wonderful thing to say on a regular basis: I'm open and receptive to all good. I'm open and receptive to all good. For me, that's a beautiful affirmation. Because you're not open and receptive to some good, you're not open and receptive to part of the good, you're open and receptive to all good. And make sure when you say it that you actually can feel it inside the body. And you can't say it like your whole body posture is closed: I'm open and receptive to all good. You need to be really open and receptive to all good. What a beautiful affirmation. And remember, you deserve. You're standing at the ocean of life with your beautiful container. There's enough. Open yourself up and be receptive and open to all good. Thank you.